As I said, amazing things happen here, and it's all about the people. So we're going to start our next session. And the next session is called Balancing the Equation. And I would like to call to the stage the moderator of this session, Michal Braverman-Blumenstyk, the CTO and Cloud and AI Security at Microsoft. Michal, the stage is yours.
Okay. Okay. Good morning, everybody. It's great to see all of you here. I'm Michal Braverman-Blumenstyk, the Global CTO of Cloud and AI Security in Microsoft. And we are going to talk about balancing the equation. Now, the equation of cybersecurity is a very complex one. As a matter of fact, it doesn't have one solution. Not only it doesn't have one solution, the solutions that apparently we have for that are a moving target. It depends on the context, it depends on the situation, on many, many factors. That's why we are not talking about solving the equation. The best we can do is balancing the equation. Now, it has many, many dimensions and parameters that influence it. No way I'm going to cover all of them in this session. So I'm going to focus in three important dimensions that I believe demonstrate the complexity of the problem that all of us are dealing with. So the first dimension is the balancing between security and usability. You can create the most secure system in the world, but the price might be usability. I think the best example let's take an example from the physical security, specifically in an airport. In an airport, a busy airport that you have millions of passengers every day, if for each such passenger, we are going to give a full body cavity search and check every tiny little thing they have, maybe we are going to achieve really very strong security, but the usability will be very bad. As a matter of fact, nobody will fly. So what we are doing, what are the physical security doing in this case? Okay, they're using some kind of risk assessment, profiling. Oh, sorry, profiling is a bad word in some countries. I can tell you in some of the countries that they claim they don't do profiling, every time I come from Israel, I am randomly selected every single time. Okay? So as you can imagine, they're doing something in the background. But this is an example of balancing security and usability, because otherwise the business will be completely stopped. The second dimension is privacy. Well, we can have, the more we know about you and the more data we know about you, we can give you a much better security, because we can know everything, your whereabouts, etc. So if someone is trying to harm you, to imitate you, to steal your identity, the more information about you, the better job we'll do. However, it will come on the price of privacy. So if we want privacy, if we want to move the equation towards the privacy, we know very little about you, but the price that you pay is in security. Another important dimension is cost. To give strong security, and I'm not even talking about effective, but strong security costs a lot of money. Okay? And we all live in a scarce economy. We cannot secure at a very high level everything that we have. So the important thing is to understand where are your crown jewels, what is the most important thing, and make sure that you invest your security budget in such a way that you secure the most important thing and you lower the security of something which is less important, or if someone will breach it, it will be not such a big deal. An example, let's say that we have a country, okay, a government, but it doesn't have to be a government. And let's say that on the left, there is a computer with all the landscape of this country, okay? And on the right, there is a computer that has all the most secret, top secret of this country. Obviously, it doesn't make sense, even though from IT perspective, it's the same problem, doesn't make sense to give the same security to both. So there is a trade-off of security and cost. So it's a complicated, and again, this is only 3 dimensions. There are so many other dimensions, and not even all of them are technology. So it's complicated. Okay? Most of the security systems that we are building now are still don't know how to, even though there is a lot of progress that we did in the 5 to 10 years, they're still focusing on maybe sometimes too much security and sometimes too little security. So many times it bothers the innocent people, but the hacker or the attacker are able to penetrate it. I believe that we should model our security systems, the way we build security system, after our immune system. I think our immune system is the most efficient security system. Why? First of all, most of the time it's transparent and non-intrusive. It's behind you, it keeps you, you don't even notice, you keep on your own business, you do whatever you want, it doesn't bother you. And that's what, remember, security should not bother you, it should keep you. And that's exactly what our immune system is doing. It has very high detection rate. If you get an infection, if you get attacked by a very dangerous bacteria, oh, it will act. It will use all the heavy machinery and all the heavy artillery. You will get a high fever because the white blood cells are fighting, etc. And again, I'm not talking about autoimmune system, autoimmune disease, which is an exception, but in general infection, it functions very well. It also have, which another very important, very low false positive. If you just get a small scratch on your hand, no heavy artillery, it will go by its way. It doesn't have to put all the heavy artillery there. So it's very, very effective. And that's the way we should build security systems. Because security should not stop the business. It should help the business. Okay, so how we are going to do that, okay? And we already started doing it as security vendors, but we are not there yet. So the way I believe we should do it is leverage AI, artificial intelligence, and the cloud are the two, AI which is powered by the cloud, is the way to go. Because by AI, specifically machine learning, and by the way, AI is not only machine learning, but a lot of it is machine learning, whether it's supervised or unsupervised learning, empowering the power of the cloud. So if we use that, and we do it smartly, we can achieve this balance. Again, it's still a difficult problem, but this is the only way that we can even approach balancing this equation effectively. Another thing that we have to remember, and especially when we deal with the AI system that are adaptive, that are self-learning, etc., we have to make very sure that because right now in many of those systems, the policy, the agenda is many times dictated by the technology. And that can be very dangerous because especially when we have self-learning systems, we have to make sure that the technology does not overcome the agenda. What we should have is the agenda dictates the technology. So, with that, I'm very curious what are the rest of the speakers, which I know all of them and they're great speakers, what they're going to talk about balancing this complex equation. So,